This movie's pretty tame. This is pretty dull. And then just out of nowhere when it launches that kid across the rock.
You're watching Direct to Dumpster. My name is Blaze.
And I'm James.
This week, we're talking Prophecy, the 1979 film directed by John Frankenheimer.
Prophecy, the monster movie. Rated PG.
See Prophecy, now showing at a theater near you.
So the movie stars Robert Foxworth, Armin Asante, and then Talia Shire. Name might not ring a bell, but it is the wife of Rocky from all like 6 Rocky movies. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Big fan.
She's a stone. She's just there in all the Rocky movies. Mm-hmm. You know, she's his rock.
She has quite the plot in this movie, though, I'd say. I mean, they create a bun, I'd say.
Yeah, definitely. This is one of those movies that I feel like no one's... You might be asking yourself, all right, Prophecy? I feel like no one's really heard of this movie.
I mean, most people think of Mothman Prophecies, I feel like, or...
I guess you could go there.
Yeah, or The Prodigy that just came out
Or
recently.
The Prophecy.
Yeah.
I know there's a The Prophecy.
Oh, really?
That came up when I went to go look for this movie. But had you known anything about this film at all?
No, I've seen the poster before, though. I don't know where I've seen it. I mean, of course, I've seen it on Amazon watch list a few times, but I've seen it just before, though. I don't know whether it was at Blockbuster, but it's like a pivotal poster, I feel like, that like in horror collection enthusiasts, I feel like.
So being that this is from 79, I feel like that's kind of a pivotal moment in like horror history where movies are kind of transitioning to either they're becoming like either lower budget slashers or inspired by the successful lower budget slashers and kind of moving out of where horror was in the 70s, where you have things like The Exorcist, or, you know, more just kind of things on a grand scale.
Yeah.
And this is kind of like a throwback. I feel like it's John Frankenheimer's chance to do a throwback to classic monster movies, but also is inspired by things like Godzilla, because you have, you know, it's about this bear that's been subjected to mercury poisoning from a paper mill that's inside like the forest. And these bears and like animals in the forest are becoming mutated because of the mercury that kind of interacts with them. And it's this like monster bear that just is wreaking havoc on the forest and the indigenous people.
I have to say, one of the funniest things I've ever seen, and it sounds terrible, but that first bear attack scene on that family, I was like, this movie's pretty tame. This is pretty dull. And then just out of nowhere when it launches that kid across the rock. This sounds terrible, but I lost it. Like, I was just like, what? That went up to 1,000 right there.
And it's just there's scene. I think it's also like a lot of it. I don't think this movie's remembered is because the bear effects aren't that good.
No,
like,
they're terrible. Honestly,
they aren't that good, and you want them to be good. But going into this movie, like, I guess the effects shop had created something that was much more menacing and looks similar to the poster on the cover, which it looks like this bear that's like an embryo almost. It looks very scary, but like the actual creature effects just aren't that good. They aren't that memorable. It's just like it looks like a bear that was burned.
It honestly looks like someone like wore a Godzilla outfit, but it got left in the sun and it just melted away. Like, whatever. We'll just change the script to a bear instead.
Yeah. And it's kind of a shame that that's the reason that this film isn't remembered, because I feel like overall the film is actually pretty sound. Like it's an interesting story. It's a movie that's somewhat about environmentalism at a time in which that wasn't really on the social conscious. But this film it's weighed down by this bear that just looks a little ridiculous, and it kind of just looks like a burn victim.
You know what, like, kind of like ruins this movie? I'd say the fact that it's like a studio film. I feel like there might have been some production notes like, oh no, we know what's up or something.
The thing though was like the studio gave a lot of leeway with this film, I guess. They trusted John Frankenheimer, and also they like allowed him to make everything in secrecy. They didn't want anything like on the film to get leaked, like what the bear looked like or anything. but maybe the notes were given. I don't know. I wasn't there, obviously.
Right.
But maybe notes were given like, all right, we need it. I know that they originally wanted to be like the cover, like the poster, because I'm assume the poster was made before. And then it kind of slowly, all right, we need it to look more like a bear.
Yeah.
To it then becoming a detriment on the production in a way, like where it's not remembered because it looks too much like a guy in a bear suit.
Right. Yeah. Going with like the baby though.
The two cubs, like I thought the cub looked all right. I didn't think it looked that bad. It is kind of crazy. It has like a sick claw. Yeah. And then there's a moment when it just bites Talia Shire like in the neck. Like I was like, damn, dude, the little cub went savage trying to get back to its mom.
Right.
But I mean, they just I didn't think the cub was a problem. It's mainly just the main bear. It's big, like the size is there, but it's just it looks like a rubber suit. And it almost reminds me of a Godzilla movie, but not in a positive way.
Yeah. It looks like definitely like a off-breed one, where it's like just a side monster. Yeah, from like in the background of Monster Island, where it wouldn't be a main one that Godzilla even fights. Yeah. But I'd say it's a fun movie. What's it called? One thing though that kind of got lost with the whole thing, where I thought it was going to be a pivotal plot point, especially at the beginning when we were getting the Robert's character, like his he's a doctor and stuff. He seems very into it, but he's like very against having kids. And then she's going to have a kid, gets brought up out of nowhere. I'm like, oh no, like, she just ate the fish and she's freaking out. But then like nothing happens. That's the last of it. I mean,
I feel like the reason that nothing happens is we're kind of where they dropped the ball in the movie is like the ending is just so sudden. It's almost like you could have had something there with the final scene of like, oh, they're having a kid, and then like they're like looking at it, and then you just cut to the end, like, oh, was the baby like mutated or anything because the mercury poisoning? But instead, they just choose to go the cheesy sequel route, and the last shot of the film is. Because it's not the same bear. It's like another bear because it looks a little bit different.
I think it's the dad or something. Yeah.
It's like a family. It's a family
affair. There's got to be a family.
But the thing with bears just in general is the dad isn't like a part of the family. It's not really around. Like they eat the cubs and shit. Like
that's a
bear.
Thing?
I mean, have you ever watched a Joe Rogan Experience?
No, I guess not. Yeah.
This is a teddy bear. I grew up with a bear. You don't know what a bear is. I've seen a bear in the wild. When you see a bear in the wild, you're like, oh, you don't give a about me.
I forgot if anyone knows anything about bears. It's that dude. Yeah. I didn't know that. I mean, actually, now I think about it, like wild, like nature life ones, it's always the mom with the two cubs and stuff.
There ain't no dad.
There ain't no dad.
Like he's not there for a reason because he'll eat the cubs if he's around.
Oh, yikes.
Yeah. So I think the mom's got to like eat him for it's a savage like existence.
What a lazy piece of crap.
Yeah. So I mean, I just thought, I mean, maybe it's a family affair where the dad's coming back at the end. Yeah. But I just thought the sequel like mentality and just the cheesiness, like they obviously want to make a sequel. It didn't pan out. The film was a somewhat of a success. It did make over $10 million its budget at the box office.
And that doesn't sound like a lot by these days, but back then, that's a huge standard.
Yeah. It didn't lead to a sequel, but I mean, I feel like everything was kind of said. The fact that it's this environmentally conscious, horror movie about, polluting, like don't pollute.
People start pollution. People can stop it.
Look at what might happen.
Yeah. If it came out today, like definitely like I feel like a lot of people would be like, damn liberal propaganda horror film coming at us. Yeah.
Oh, for sure. But I mean, I say check it out. I think it's one of those things that people have forgotten about. I don't think it's that bad. I think the film's actually pretty good. I just think the bear looks at times ridiculous, but then at times you're like, oh, this isn't that bad. This is 79. Like this looks like this is a like it's a bigger budget film. It's not an independent. It is from a studio.
Right. No, this HD conversion, is beautiful to look at. I'd say it's very professionally shot. It's well lit. The cinematography is great, being in a forest setting. But yeah, the one downfall of the movie, I do like the plot. The acting's fine. It's a fun movie overall when it finally starts to kick into gear. But the one thing holding it back is that bear. Like, get past that. You don't have one of the things to watch a horror film is to see how cool the monster is going to look. And this ain't it. It ain't the cool looking monster. But overall, it's got all the pieces there. It just barely missed the mark on being like an actual pretty good movie, I feel like. Yeah.
That's going to be it for this week, guys. We always appreciate the support. Make sure you support the show by going down into our description and clicking the Amazon affiliate link to watch the movie.
And you haven't already done so, please subscribe to our channel. Really helps us out. And also, best way to stay notified is by hitting that notification bell.
Drive-by movies. Tune in next week for a new episode of Direct to Dumpster.